pictures in your fever, scream me again. Never kisses, or do you ever send a postcard? Do you know where the waffles go? They go along to take your home. Way down how we build our breakfast down and say my love, love, love. Muscle to muscle, toe to toe. The fear is grip me, but here I go. My heart sings as I jump up. Girl, I pretend that my is shutting up.
Good morning, VHS. Today is Friday the 13th, and it is a purple day.
All ski and snowboard club members should see Mr. Mazer today about their season passes.
Students, please help us recover the many overdue and missing books from the library. Check your rooms and under your bed. Check your car. Look on your bookshelves and in your lockers for those long-lost copies. There are no charges for overdue books. We would love to have our books back on the shelves for Christmas. Now we'll see how the weather for the weekend is going to turn out. Over to you, Kia.
Thanks, Adam. Today we have a high of 24 with a 30% chance of snow. Scattered flurries could be expected to continue through to tonight, where the temperature will drop down to 7 degrees. Tomorrow there is likely to be light snow in the afternoon, and it will be very cloudy and very cold with a high of 16 and a low of 13 at night. And there are rumors that we might get some real snow tomorrow night. All I can say is that there is a 100% chance of snow with winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour, and we can expect 4 to 6 inches of snow to accumulate. On Sunday, the snow will continue along with the bitter wind. There will be a high of 25 and a low of 4 on Sunday night, so bundle up. And the snow should clear up by late Sunday night or early Monday morning. That's all I have for you today for weather. Have a nice weekend. Drive safely. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Kia. Have you recently lost a pair of glasses? There are several pairs in front of the office. Please stop by to see if they are yours.
Did you lose a GM car key in the faculty lot? It has a Sydney lanyard, WRCC hand sanitizer, and a Walgreens card on it. Please claim them at the UHS front office. Also, candygrams are on sale in the cafeteria from December 16th to 19th. Buy your friend a candygram and have it delivered throughout the day on December 20th by Santa and his elves. And who knows, you may receive a candygram too. Candygrams will be sold outside the caf during all lunches, and they cost $1. Proceeds benefit the Junior Class Council. In other news, calling all young ladies between the ages of 16 and 20, 10th grade up. Brattleboro Winter Carnival is preparing for the Queen's Pageant. If you are interested in learning more about it, contact Miss Johnson and Ramona Wade. It's a great opportunity to meet new people. Rehearsals begin on January 5th, so act quickly. Now let's go over to Will to see what's new in sports.
Hey, BUHS. Tomorrow, varsity boys basketball will be playing an away game at Mount Mansfield. And varsity girls basketball will be playing a game against Mill River tomorrow at home at 2:30. In professional news, Patriots get a second chance at the AFC East Division title. All they have to do is beat the Dolphins on Sunday. And now back to the desk.
Thanks, Will. There's a community service opportunity if you're interested in earning up to 26 hours by keeping score for IBL games. See Mr. Mazer in room 126 for information. No experience needed.
Attention students, if you're missing any clothing articles, please stop by the mailroom and check out the Lost and Found. The Lost and Found boxes will be cleaned out during holiday break. Also, are you interested in traveling? The Experiment in International Living provides summer abroad programs for UHS students who want to visit another country. Students can pick up program catalogs and informational handouts from the MCL office in room 212 or contact any language teacher. Students should apply online before January 15, 2014 through the Experience website. Scholarships are available and are open to students of all grades. Parents will also need to complete a simple financial aid application as part of the online application.
Now let's go over to see what Casey has for us today.
It's Flashback Friday! We are gonna throw some backs of Mario Kart. Then I'm back to the desk. I shouldn't have said that, sorry. Friday the 13th. Now, back to the desk.
Thanks, Casey. Living Memorial Park Snow Sports Inc., the organization that maintains and operates the ski and snowboard hill at the park, is ready to sign up community service volunteers for the 2013 to 2014 season. Please find applications at the counseling office. There will be a training session for both new and returning community service volunteers on December 27th, 10 a.m. at the park. For answers to your questions, please contact Jake Dixon at 254-9541 or at the email below.
That's what we have for you today. BUHS, we leave you with a talk show made by journalist class.
Good afternoon. You're here on Buhs-Tv, and today we are going to discuss the ongoing topic of the dress code here at Buhs, and it's a big issue. So today we have three guests: Kenesha Troll, Lachlan Francis, and Gordy Baldwin. My name is Robin Avery, and my co-host, Cassie Ramirez.
How you doing, Robin?
Good. Kenesha, can you tell us a little bit about the dress code?
I don't really pay attention to the dress code.
What do you mean you don't pay attention?
I don't like it.
What don't you like about it?
I don't like how everything is basically you can't wear what you want, technically. Like, say someone wanted to wear shorts, they would have to wear knee shorts, not the shorts that they wanted to wear.
How do you feel that the dress code affects students? How does it affect students?
Well, I don't know. Some students, like I said, don't like it, but some do, and some argue with teachers and principals about it, and some don't.
Do you believe the students have the right to wear whatever they want, whenever they want?
Yeah,
Can you tell me why?
because they have the freedom to do whatever they want.
Gordy, so you are a teacher here at BUHS, so...
Well, I'm the safety officer. So
Right.
Yes, I do. One of the things that as part of my job is to enforce the dress code, and I don't do very much of that. But I do feel that the dress code's important in a certain way. For socioeconomically, I believe that it is important. And I do believe that you can't wear whatever you want, because that's not preparing you for what you're going to find out in the real world. When you go, and I would assume that most people here at school are preparing themselves to do something after high school, either college or work, and you will find that you're not allowed to dress whatever way you want. And when I worked for the radio station, that was fine. I had a face for radio, and I had the clothing for it too. But here, I get dressed. Now, one of the things that what if like one of the things that I don't do is I don't ask young women to change their clothes or because number one, I feel it's invasive for a man to do that, and I don't want to be enforcing something that really is not for my purpose. So, you know, if you're talking about somebody being scantily clad, I'm not going to get into that. That's for arthritis or somebody else to do. But I do believe that there is I would ask you, what restriction, do you give up any other freedoms when you come into school? Besides the freedom to dress any way you like?
Yeah.
Well, like what?
The freedom to say whatever I want.
Well, and do you feel that that's a good idea or a bad idea?
Good idea.
To not just say whatever comes off the top of your head?
Well, if it's appropriate.
Well, yeah, but I think what we're trying to do, and I understand that there's going to naturally be a difference between what I think is appropriate and what you may think is appropriate. It doesn't make you right or me right. But in trying to find what's appropriate, we do give up certain freedoms so that we don't run down the hall screaming and, well, some of us
Yeah.
But we try and tailor our behavior so that we're not disruptive and that we show respect for each other. I don't always think the dress code does that, but I think that's what the goal is.
Okay, so Lachlan here is our expert, and can you give us a brief detail of what you think about the dress code?
I think I think Gordy really got at a lot of good points here that, I guess in a lot of ways we might need a dress code at some point. So, for example, we don't want students wearing clothing that is offensive to other students. We don't want, something like that would certainly be disruptive to a learning environment in some ways. However, I really have taken offense to the way the dress code has been framed here, and I think in most other schools, in which it's targeted most specifically at females. And then I think also if you look at the enforcement here at Brattleboro Union High School, it's been at a select group of females, and so I'm sure if you looked at the students who've been asked to change for dress code violations, you'd find a lot less who are on the honor roll than who are not. I think that's most certainly safe to say. And then I think that it really, the dress code, how we have it framed now, that if you're a young woman at BUHS and you're dressed a certain way, then you are distracting men from learning, and then you're either going to be asked to change or go home, is really kind of like a manifestation of male sexual dominance and the rape culture that we have in this country, which is really disgusting and needs to be discussed. And so it certainly comes across as a manifestation of that, in that it's women who are responsible for male attraction, and I don't really think that changing the way people dress is also going to alter that. I'm pretty sure if you go to a Catholic school where everyone's wearing their uniforms, there's still going to be issues of attraction. So I don't think changing the way people dress is gonna alter that. But what I think is fair and is the way it should be framed is that we're going to ask young women and men, regardless of sexual orientation or whatever it may be, to dress with respect for themselves, for their classmates, for their community, and also in a way that they would want to be seen. So, as you were getting at, prepare them for professional career.
Right. Let me ask you something. You mentioned, interestingly enough, that you believe that there's a socioeconomic factor in who gets, so to speak, pulled over for not being dressed properly. So, backing into this question, do you believe that based on what you know of who's been, and here, I'll just come out and say it, they tell you at the beginning of every freshman year, no bellies, butts, or breasts, is the way that they say it. Do you feel that the people who have been cited for not abiding by that, and that's for women only, but do you feel that they've been discriminated against, and that there are people of a certain socioeconomic class that do not get called for that?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's solely down to socioeconomic status, but I think it's more about the reputation that they cut out for themselves within the school. So especially by senior year last year, I remember last spring we had really ramped up the enforcement of the dress code, and it really struck me that the kids who were not getting, a lot of the senior girls or junior girls who I knew who were most certainly in violation of the dress code most days, once we got to spring, May, June, and they were never asked to change, whereas there were other girls who were repeatedly asked to change and targeted, and there was a very clear distinction about the reputations they had kind of.
I don't know the answer to this, so I probably shouldn't ask it, but has there been a study of, these are hard statistics, they're in a database somewhere, and we could probably look at it, of who was in violation of the dress code last year.
Yeah, it's interesting. So the student council was asked a couple weeks ago to help rewrite the dress code policy for the school board. So student council will be beginning to look at beginning to gain feedback from the administration, faculty, but most importantly for us, students, in how to change and reform the dress code for it's more common sense and practical and works for everybody involved. And so we'll be, hoping to find some data on that to make the policy more effective.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed is that the dress code is framed in a way where it is mostly directed at women. And that I've seen boys walking around here with their pants falling off. And, I've told them, hoist your flag, come on, I don't want to see your boxers or whatever. But would you feel that with the same dress code that we have now, if it were more evenly enforced between men and women, would that help you out?
I mean, I think that would be fair. I think that's like kind of common sense. I don't have any problem with that. I think that, but regardless, it needs to be like the rhetoric within which it's enforced is like you are distracting other people. You are,
It's disturbing the environment, the educational environment is the way that
and I think it would be much more effective to instead ask students to take responsibility for themselves and like think about how they want to be viewed, and if they refuse to play along, well then you can get into some more like towards what we have now. But I think that the first step needs to be more holistic.
Well, would this be something that the student council would become involved in, actually, not only involving themselves in setting the dress code, but in actually seeing that it's carried out?
Well, I think, and this is kind of similar to what we did with the cell phone policy a couple years ago, where we were able to help rewrite the cell phone policy, and we've had some roles in enforcing the cell phone policy. I could certainly, and I don't want to like speak for student council before the entire council has made a decision, so I want to make that very clear that no decision has been made by the council. But depending on where the administration is coming from, which granted I don't know how eager they would be, but I think that I think there could be a role for student council in like helping to enforce it in some way if we can get to the point where it's not as perhaps unfair and biased.
Well, in many ways, I don't want to talk myself out of a job, but I think the more that you can live by your own rules, the more equitable that is, and it makes more sense. I've had a lot of kids come up to me and say, "Why is that a rule? It's a stupid rule." And I think it's a reasonable rule, but I can't always answer why it's a particular rule. It's because it's the way it's been done. Now, like you say, holistically, maybe if you and Kenesha and Cassidy and Jordy have, and all the people that I'm seeing out here, have more control over what you say and do, maybe it'll actually be easier for the administration and administrators to enforce with other students. I mean, I think it's certainly worth a try, and I'm not trying to ruin any administrator's job or cut down. I like being employed, but maybe a little bit more input and responsibility for what happened would be good.
Kenesha?
I would like to ask Kenesha a question. Without getting, not talking about you personally, but people that you know. Do you know a lot of people that feel, a lot of women that feel that they have been unfairly picked on, or that? Just tell me how you feel about the fact that most of what you're seeing is directed toward women and not boys.
I was actually about to say that I agreed with you guys on that, because yes, I do know a lot of people that get targeted by that, but the men in the school walk around and their butts are basically hanging out, and the teachers like ignore them and just go for the girls. Like, I'm wearing a dress right now, but you guys can't see, and me and my friend had to change today, and there was this kid that was just in the hallway buckling up his belt, but his pants were like all the way down, so like his butt was out, and the teacher didn't even say anything to him. And
I don't know
me
whether
and my
you can
friend
say
like,
this in Brattleboro Union High School, but there's nothing for me dumber looking than a boy grabbing his belt down right about crotch level. It looks silly. You might as well be sucking your thumb and grabbing your crotch at the same time.
Yeah.
Sorry, but that's, you know, anybody who does that, and you know who you are, don't do it. You're not going to get hired by me or probably anybody else.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of people who agree on that. And so, Kanisha, you really feel like you are targeted more than guys, and hopefully we can change that. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Does anyone else want to say anything else? No? All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to BHS TV.